We back with another one. Shout out to the LDBC. It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the boxing clinic. And if you haven't heard, Vasyl Lomachenko sometime in August, I think it's August 4th on ESPN. It's taking on Miguel Marriaga. Miguel Marriaga is the guy who previously lost to Nicholas Walters. We know Vasyl Lomachenko made Nicholas Walters quit already. But why is he going back fighting the guy that Nicholas Walters already beat? Who's again? And Miguel Marriaga moving up 4 pounds to face Lomachenko, which again is coming off a loss to top ranks Oscar Valdez, which is the bullshit in the game here, And let's talk about the bullshit in the game. I'm one of those guys that been promoting, Vasyl Lomachenko. I didn't like him getting his title shot in his second fight. I've been on record saying that and blasting him, but I was so impressed about how he competed with a tough, gritty vet like Salido that I thought that, that was a learning experience for him. I thought he was confident and cocky to let Orlando Salido rehydrate the next day as high as he wanted to. And that was on him. It was a learning experience, and I think from there he got better and went on the road beating Gary Russell, Nicholas Walters, amongst, others. I took a lot of flack for putting him in my top 5 pound for pound. I think he was number 5. And I see a lot of people taking flack about it. And this is the bullshit in the game here, though. For the last few weeks, him and Grandma Rigondeaux, for the last few years, they've been going over it. Going at it. Excuse me. It's been pretty much, talk of the town as who was the better amateur. And then now who was the better pro. And, from what I'm understanding years ago, Rigondeaux and Lomachenko couldn't agree on a catch weight or some shit like that. A lot of people put that on Rigondeaux, but you got to understand though, a lot of these guys who pro Eastern European fighters or pro European fighters or pro, whoever, pro for whoever, they look at the situation from what view is beneficial to them in their argument, but nobody ever can play the devil advocate and look at it from the other, standpoint. Hardly you ever get that. And I'm a guy that can look at it from each standpoint and each point of view and be like, okay, I get that. But they've been going at it for the last few years and, they couldn't, agree on anything. Like Rigondeaux said, you said Lomachenko lost to Salido, Top Rank made him a star. He beat a pound for pound top, 10 fighter, Nino Donaire, and Top Rank, shitted on him. HBO Top Rank shitted on him. They don't like him. He's boring. He's this, he's that. And we seen, a lot of fighters come on HBO and stink it up. Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins have stunk it up on HBO. We've seen Winky Wright stink it up on HBO before. And, it is what it is. They act like Rigondeaux is the first of his breed, which he actually is not. So, they've been going back and forth on Twitter for a while recently and, going back and forth. So, for the simple fact, I'm arguing with my boy R. Moore. Shout out to him. Very knowledgeable boxing guy. Pro-European, though, for sure. But I ain't got no problem with that, he said they was negotiating on Twitter. I don't care what they're negotiating at. If you're negotiating for the public to see it, you better back your word up. And this guy says, Lomachenko manager says, matter of fact, Rigondeaux said we could fight at a catch weight. Maybe, we could fight at 126. I think that's what he said. Lomachenko people said, no, we need you to come with the 130. So Rigondeaux, even though I don't think he was coming up to 130, I'm going to be honest. But Rigondeaux did the smart thing, the thing that I asked a lot of fighters to do. He called the snow on the bluff. He called the bluff, and then Lomachenko turns around and makes a deal with Miguel Marriaga. Now, it's fine. If people say, oh, he had a fight date already. Well, why is you out here throwing propaganda out here? Why is you over here throwing ideas out here? Why is you over here misleading the fans? Okay, there's one thing you can mislead, Rigondeaux behind closed doors, and he can come back and tell the story. You can be like, oh, shut your ass. I might believe that shit. But you on public, where the public can see it, and you misleading the fans. So it look like a duck sauce. It smell like duck sauce. You look like a duck, and you are a duck. It's not the point that where he said, well, I did what I did at 130. I can move up. He didn't go out there and fight Tevin Farmer. He didn't go out there and fight Miguel Burka. He had a fight already. He had a date already. He didn't go out there and fight, nobody reputable. Even if he fought a guy like Miguel Marriaga, I'm not saying him in particular, but a guy of his status coming off a loss at lightweight, because he's been talking about, I want to go up to lightweight and dominate. He moved up to 135 pounds. I wouldn't even have called it a duck. I'm like, oh, you know what? Lomachenko couldn't get the fight. He won at 130. I know Rigondeaux is a wishy-washy motherfucker. I feel Lomachenko, he want to go to 135, get his feet wet, and get prepared to fight Garcia, Jorge Linares, Robert Easter Jr., and take over that division. Cool, I'm cool with that. But he turns around and fights Miguel Marriaga, a guy that's coming off a fucking loss to Oscar Valdez, who's already lost to one of his former foes, Nicholas Walters. What are you trying to prove? And this is the thing I don't like about Bob Arum showing boxing on ESPN. He already tarnished, the sport of boxing for the whole 2017. Everything we worked towards and worked for in 2017, making boxing great again. Shout out to Donald Trump. Fuck Trump, but saying making boxing great again. Okay, he pretty much fucked that up in one night, and I give it to Robert Easter Jr. He tarnished it a little bit, but Robert Easter Jr. and Dennis Shavakov fight wasn't on the pedestal of Manny Pacquiao and Jeff Horn. He fucked Manny Pacquiao raw on national TV and turned off a lot of casual fans and a lot of hardcore fans and purists as well. And he did it in one night. Now he's turning around giving us two subpar fights. I don't care how you look at it. Miguel Marriaga and Vasyl Lomachenko was a shit fight, even though I like Terrence Crawford. And I want to see him fight Undisputed Championship. But, Indongo he might can compete, but I'm not ecstatic about that fight. But that's where I stand on this. Still like Lomachenko, still my guy.